With so many agencies engaged in immigration enforcement, how can there be accountability? And are there any standards that these various entities have to adhere to, or are there training protocols?
One word, no. Like we don't like it, and we should.
And we don't have anything resembling that, any special sort of.
So what we have is, if an individual is going to be a federal law enforcement officer, we definitely have a set of federal guidelines for individuals at the federal level. The issue, however, and this is the issue that is always functioned in the U.S., is that you oftentimes have these federal agencies, say in this case ICE, working with local law enforcement. And that is where you get into issues. And they have all different sorts of agreements that allow them to work together and partner together. But that makes things very fuzzy, right? And in many respects, it makes things slippery, and in many respects is blurry, and it maybe doesn't even exist, right? I mean, in military bases, for example, we have detention centers there. All across the United States, we have facilities that are being put up that are detaining individuals who supposedly don't have proper paperwork to be in the United States, when really one of the key issues there is just the backup and the stopgap of people being able to process information through the bureaucracy of the federal government. So we need those federal standards. We need to think about how people are hired. We need to make sure that that is above reproach. And then we also need to ensure that we are collecting good data. One of the key issues is that we are not collecting good data. And my research has shown that when you start talking about comprehensive data reporting, that is one of the best ways to increase accountability, not just because someone is watching like their big brother or big sister, but because a lot of law enforcement actually want to know what is going on. And so it has always been the case that there is slippage, and I will argue throughout American history, the 250 years, and even before that, as the founding of our country was taking shape, is that part of what people don't realize is that that slippage has always existed, where people become casualties of the Constitution, in a sense, in terms of who has the ability to be above reproach, who doesn't. And whenever a person, regardless of their status, stands in the way of that enforcement, they also get treated oftentimes similar to how other individuals are being treated based on some sort of marginalized status that they have or people think they have.